Coming up on this edition of the Martinville Raceway Report, we've reached the sunset of the 2013 Martinville Raceway season. In this episode, last week, we were able to sit down with the front runners in the Purple Plate class, James Crow, David Newman, and Austin Black. We sat down, we talked to them about their racing season and what it's like to race against each other week after week, as they also race against each other at Little Indy, and it is a great interview. I really think you'll enjoy it. Also, I've talked about Ma Warner all year, and we have an interview with her so you can actually finally meet Ma Warner, the person who's behind all of the getting all the sponsorship for Martinville Raceway. We'll have the who finished where in the final race of the 2013 season, and most important, we'll be able to crown track champions for you. All that and more on the Martinville Raceway Report, which starts right now.
It's my
Coming to you from the Victor Racing Engine Shop, this is the championship edition of the Martinville Raceway Report. In this edition, we will go over the results from the last points day at the track on September 14th. We'll announce who the track champions are for the 2013 points season. We have one more race at the track this year on October 12th. We'll go into a little bit more detail as far as what that's going to contain. And we have a couple interviews that we're going to show you. As a matter of fact, right now we're going to go ahead back to the track, get the final thoughts from the final points day of the 2013 Martinville Raceway season. And we've got two great interviews for you. We have an interview with the top 3 Purple Plate finishers that was recorded before the September 7th race, and then we have an interview with Ma Warner, who's been so instrumental getting sponsorship at the track for the 2013 season, and we just kind of went over what is the process getting sponsorship for the track. So we think you'll enjoy it, so we'll go ahead and head back to the track for this episode's installment of We're here with the Purple Plate class here at Martinville Raceway. We've got the number 78 Austin Black in the John Horn construction cart. We've got James Crow in the Slack cart. And we've got David Newman in the Hep Construction Solder Comfort cart. Now these three race in the Purple Plate class here at Martinville, and all year they've been doing a great job. They've been very consistent race after race on the track, and it's been very nice to see them as far as when they're on how they race on the track, and that's what we're going to talk about. And I just found out that we have family here. Austin is related to David, they're cousins. So first question goes to you guys. What's it like racing family on the track in the same class?
Not bad, but it feels kind of different for racing against family instead of friends. Yeah.
What's the difference between racing against friends and family? What difference do you see?
Because family, you already know them, and it's like you just getting to know them more.
Now,
and then friends, for racing, you're making friends with other people.
Okay, so let me ask you, James, since you're kind of like the odd man out here, do you have to race them a little bit differently, knowing that they're family, or are you just like, you know what? I'm just out there racing and having a good time.
I'm just out there having a good time.
So you're out there having a good time? Okay, now, you guys have been consistent on the track all year. I have a very hard time taking pictures of you guys by yourself because you guys are grouped together so often. So when you're on the track, do you have a hard time passing each other? James, do you have... So when you can get up to it, you have no problem passing when you can get to them. What about you, Austin?
I'm good, except if I have my perfect line, I'm good to go.
But what about you, David?
It's kind of hard because a lot of times when I'm passing, I go into the turns, and when I'm passing Austin, he goes down.
So
because he's in the state, but yeah.
Do you guys race different lines out there?
I race my line, everybody races their own line, and it's just kind of different. If someone's passing and you're on the high side, you're trying to go down, and then you accidentally hit someone, and then they spin out, and then say they're other buddy's fault, and it's just kind of different.
Do you guys ever get mad at each other?
Kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of. Now you
Not James.
Now you guys race at Little Indy and here.
Yeah.
So basically every week you guys are racing against each other. Now Austin, I heard that you won the track championships at Little Indy, correct? Congratulations to you. So what's it like racing for a championship together every week? James.
It's fun.
So you enjoy racing against these guys?
Yeah.
Now, you guys are together all the time, but sometimes, now it's not just only 3 karts in your class. Sometimes you got 5, sometimes you got 6. So do you ever see them as kind of like, you've got your own little group that races week after week. So when somebody else pops into the purple class, do you see them kind of like an outsider, and do you maybe race them a little bit differently?
Just racing the same way you race somebody else.
Well, that's good to know. What about you, James?
Just racing the same way that you race someone else.
David?
Like if me and him are racing, I'll take it easy on him because he's new.
Okay.
But if he's raced for a while, then I won't.
So you take into account the experience of the driver that's out there. Is that what you're saying? Well, that's very nice of you, because not a lot of people are willing to do that, so that's very nice of you. Now, do you guys prefer just to race the 3 of you together, or do you like it when you have a big pack size out there?
I like to have a big pack, because if you only have 3, only thing I like is having fun and passing. And so if you have like 8 or 7, you get to pass more and have a lot more fun than only having 3.
What about you, James?
I just like having a big group.
You like a big group also?
I like a big group because if you keep racing 3, it kind of gets boring.
So you can tell all these guys are true racers because they want to win races, and when they win a race, they want to feel like they earned it. Now, let me ask you this. What is your favorite racing memory? Well, I mean, wherever it may have been, whatever it was. Go ahead, David.
One night here, me and I think it was in a heat race. Me and James were just constantly like that.
Really? So you guys were side by side?
And my dad said we were like professionals out there.
Well, let me say that before I go on to James. You guys do race as That's why I'm interviewing you guys. You guys show a lot of sportsmanship out there. You show a lot of class out there when you're driving. I have not seen any one of you guys just purposely go in and just punt somebody out of the way. So now, James, what's your favorite racing memory?
I like when one night here, me and David was side by side.
Side by side. Now, do you ever get comfortable side by side, or do you like racing side by side?
I like racing like that with James because it makes it fun.
Okay, now what's your favorite racing memory, Austin?
I have 2.
Yeah, go right ahead.
One time me and James were at Great Lakes, and we were in the purple class, and I think it was only the 2 of us, and that was like the greatest time we all had at Great Lakes. Even my dad, my mom, everybody, and we kept on battling back for the lead, and then we all kept on passing and passing and passing, and then finally someone won.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then,
go ahead.
when I was racing 50cc, I cut my finger when it was raining, like pouring down rain. Me, Zach, and David were in my trailer, and when we were in my trailer, I stepped on something, and then I jumped down and I sliced my finger open, and I went to the hospital, and I used Zach's one of the gloves, and I went into 50cc, and I won that night.
Racing and winning with an injury. Speaking of which, that's kind of like Martin Truex Jr. Please, Martin, even though you have a cast on your hand, please make the chase tonight. Now, are all 3 of you going to race Purple Plate again next year, or are some of you guys moving up?
I know he's moving up. I think me and James are staying.
Okay, so you guys are going to stay Purple Plate, and you may move up to Gold. Is that what it is?
I might move up to 305 Clone.
Oh, well, that'd be nice. 305 Clone had a good class this year. Now, since we're talking racing, who is your favorite race car driver? Austin.
Race car driver like NASCAR?
Anybody. It could be anybody. Who do you enjoy watching on the racetrack?
Case Kane.
Dale Blaney.
Dale Blaney? He's related to Dave Blaney, correct?
It's his brother.
Okay.
I have two.
Go right ahead.
James and Jeff Gordon.
James and Jeff Gordon. Now see, my favorite is Martin Truex Jr., and I hope Martin Truex Jr. beats Jeff Gordon tonight. On a lighter note, I just want to say these three have really showed what racing is like as far as young kids growing up, learning how to race and coming up through the classes, and they are really to be commended. So once again, thank you, Austin Black, the John Horn Construction 78 Purple Plate Cart, the James Crow and the number 11 Slat Cart, and then David Newman and the number 0 Hep Construction Solder Comfort Cart. These guys have done a great job, and we'll see them out on the track. We're here at the season finale at Martinville Raceway, and we wanted to make sure we took the opportunity to talk to Ma Warner as far as sponsorship at the track goes. So we have Ma Warner and Hannah Russell here at the table, and we wanted to ask Ma Warner exactly what is the process you have to go through to get someone to sponsor the track here at Martinville Raceway.
Well, earlier in the year, we started off actually at the end of last year, sending out a whole bunch of letters asking people if they would be interested in paying a certain amount of money for a certain size banner we could put up around the track. We got a good response. I was hoping for better, but you know, it worked out, and I work for a digital print company. They gave me a discount on the banners, so that was real nice and very helpful to us.
It's always nice to get discounts when you're trying to do something.
Yes.
Now, go ahead and tell us some of the sponsors that did. Have you got any feedback from the sponsors from the sponsorship here?
I haven't really heard from them. I've tried to email like your episodes, send them like an email thank you, but we have this card that we're having everybody sign this evening. We're going to get made up and send out, and really appreciate everything that they did for us.
Now, also at the table, you can see some of the products for the raffle that will be today. We've got 32-inch HD TV. We've got some T-shirts, some CDRs, some hats, some sweaters. Looks like there's a battery there, or a temper something or other. So now this raffle is to go to help with the lighting. This will be the second raffle we've had this year. The first raffle, the raffle itself was held on June 8th.
Right.
I remember. And then today is for the second raffle. Tell us, we all pretty much know what the raffle's for, but go ahead and tell us what the raffle is for.
We're taking donations for prizes. All of the raffle money is going toward new lighting. We have 2 new lights up there already. You can see a significant difference. We're hoping next year we get more on the track. It's more out in the pits, and maybe that'll cut down on generators a little bit.
I can tell you, for as far as taking pictures, the new lighting has made a world of difference. Are you able to tell us so far how much we've been able to raise toward the new lighting?
I really don't know. I don't know if Paul's putting some of the 50-50 money toward that. We had Bogey's Barbecue donated pork for us. We raised a pretty good amount of money that night. The first raffle, I believe we got $281. This raffle, I think we're right around $200. So it's slow, but we're getting there.
Every dollar counts, every little bit counts. And one of the major reasons why I want to do this interview is because I wanted people to see some of the people behind the scenes as far as what it takes to run a track. Sponsorship in any form of auto racing is very important, and it's not just a case of making a phone call and ooh, all of a sudden you have sponsors. There's a lot of phone calls made, there's a lot of hard work, and Ma Warner is to be appreciated and thanked for everything she does, because without the sponsorship here at Martinville, it's very conceivable we're not racing today. So thank you, Ma Warner. Hannah's been very helpful as far as going around all year with the 50-50s and the raffles. She's been very helpful also. And these are the behind-the-scenes people you don't see. So thank you very much for your efforts this year. Obviously, we couldn't do it without you. Thank you so much.
I would like to thank Becky Wasson and Lindsay Bowden. They have helped us a lot.
So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And as we continue on with the Martinville Raceway Report. We're here at Martinville Raceway, and we're already at the season finale. This year has definitely flown by. And what's really ironic is here at the season finale of a season that's been affected so much by rain, there's barely a cloud in the sky. We got bright sunshine. It's a great day for racing. The temperatures are cool and the track is hard. So far, we've been through hot laps, and right now the carts are having a real hard time getting a hold of the track. So it's going to be interesting to see who can make that adjustment, which will allow them to grab hold of the track, get up front, and get out to victory lane. So as we continue on with the Martinville Raceway Report, well, folks, it all comes down to this. One last chance to make one final adjustment to get yourself in victory lane in the season finale at Martinville Raceway, and possibly one last chance to make that adjustment that gets you that track championship. Weaver Performance Racing looks as though they may have a great night to end the season. The 18 in the novice, the 90 in the 360 flathead, and the 24 in the 305 clone appear to be the class of the fields. In the 360 flathead, though, along with the 90, the 09 of Kevin Warner, and the number 8 cart also appear to be front runners. So that looks to be a three-man race for the $200 there. But it's been a great night so far. The 3 and the 14 in the open clone looks like they're going to battle for the win tonight. There's races all over the place tonight. It's a fitting way to end a great year here at Martinville Raceway. So do you want to find out who finished, who won, who didn't win, and who's track champions? Just hang on with the Martinville Raceway Report. A little bit later, we'll give you all the winners of tonight, and also all the winners of the track champions for the 2013 Martinville Raceway season. Well, folks, that's it. The checkered flag has fallen on the 2013 Martinville Raceway season, and it was a great way to end the year, especially for Weaver Performance Racing. They had at least 3, if not 4, feature winners tonight. We know the 18 in the novice, the 24 in the 305 clone, and the 90 in the 360 flathead. All of them won tonight, and Sam Weaver in the 305 clones, I believe, captured the track championship this year in that class. It's been a fun year here at Martinville this way. I can't believe we're already done. It seems like just the other day I was out in the infield as the first cart came on for the 2013 season, and now we're already over. So it's been a great year at Martinville Raceway. Stay tuned. We'll let you know who finished where, and we'll also let you know who are the 2013 track champions here at Martinville Raceway. As we've pretty much been very emphatic about throughout the episodes of the Martinville Raceway Report, we always want to say thank you to all the sponsors who have been so instrumental throughout the 2013 season as far as making it such a success. And one more time, we want to just go ahead and say thank you to all the sponsors and all the track personnel who work so hard every race day at the track to give such a great race day experience. I think if you were to poll most people throughout the infield during a race day, and you would ask them, rate the surrounding tracks, who has the best race day experience, I can almost guarantee you that Martinville would either be number 1, maybe number 2 for some people, but I'm pretty sure it's number 1 for most people. So we want to take this opportunity to both say thank you to the sponsors who have been so instrumental, and also the track personnel who have been so instrumental with such a great race day experience that you get at Martinville Raceway. Now, as far as the sponsors for the 2013 Martinville Raceway season, we want to go ahead and mention them. Once again, the sponsors of Martinville Raceway are O&I Transport, Burris Tires, O'Reilly Auto Parts, Warner Racing, Chafin Racing Engines, Kears Speed Shop, KPR Go-Kart Parts and Accessories, and Rod Edelblutz. I apologize if I mispronounced the last name. So those are the sponsors as far as the track goes. Kears Speed Shop, they're so gracious as far as letting us use their facility for the banquet year after year. So it's as we've mentioned before, you cannot have a first-class facility, a first-class race day experience without first-class sponsors, and that's something what Martinville Raceway have. We have first-class sponsors there at Martinville Raceway. Now, as far as race day, as far as the people who give such a great race day experience, we want to thank these people. We definitely want to thank Paul DeWald for running everything. He does such a great job, and I think you'll find that he's probably the most fair as far as all the surrounding tracks goes, because listen, if you're involved in a caution, whether you caused it or whether you didn't cause cause the caution, you're going to the back. And that's probably the most fair way to go about things. And that's what he does. If you're involved in a caution, unfortunately, you go to the back. But that eliminates any opportunity for favoritism. But he does so much as far as how the track goes. He runs everything. He preps the track, flags, payouts. He does more with him and Crystal, obviously. Also, Paul DeWalt Jr. for tracking the prepping the track and a flagman. Dave Borer, flagman. Clarissa DeWalt, scorer. Don Bell, driver sign-in and scorer. Scarlett Strader, she was scoring and she's going to be taking over next year's scoring. Jay Kralik, pit steward. Kenny Holloway, scales and tech man. Crystal DeWalt, sign-in and payouts. Estelvina Fearing, sign-in shed. Pam Young, cook. And Cynthia DeWalt at the concession stand. KPR Go-Kart parts and accessories. Ron Kralik, Bosco Kralik, Jay Kralik, and Hannah Russell. As far as the raffles go, the dedicated sellers, you had Mama Warner with the raffles and the 50-50. Hannah Russell, raffles 50-50. Becky Wasson, raffles 50-50. Lindsay Bowden, raffles and 50-50. And these are some people that they weren't there every week as far as helping with 50-50 as a raffle, but they may have popped in once or twice to help with it. And anytime you can get help anywhere, it's very much appreciated. So we want to say thank you to Cynthia DeWald, who helped one time with the selling of the raffles and the 50-50. Deb Davis, who was able to pop in one time. Morgan, they didn't give me a last name, but thank you, Morgan, for popping in the one time to help. Kendra Hallman and Mallory Calkins also for popping in the time that you did to help with the 50-50s and the raffle. Like I said, anytime you can get any help with anything, it is very much appreciated. So we can't say thank you enough to the people who help at the track. Can't say thank you enough to the sponsors. And we also want to say thank you to those who gave stuff for the 50-50, I'm sorry, not for 50, but for the raffles that we had to help with the new lighting at the track. And the raffle donations came from Mad River, Harley Davidson of Sandusky, TMR, the Warner family, Mary Keaton, and Finn, Feather, and Fur. So we thank you so much for giving the donations toward for the raffles. They helped raise a lot of money for lighting at the track. If I remember correctly, I think I saw a number on Forcycle as far as like around $700. So obviously that's a big help as far as getting new lighting at the track. The new lights that are up, you can tell there's a big difference between what we had before and what's there now. Those new lights do make a big difference, especially when a lot of the racing, a lot of features are run under the lights. So it makes a big difference. But I mean, anybody who's helped at any point in time this year at Martinville Raceway, thank you. Because as I mentioned before, Martinville Raceway, it's a first-class facility, first-class racing, first-class race day experience, but you can't get that without having help. So as to everybody, if I forgot to mention your name, if it was forgotten to get it to me, thank you so much for everything you do. Thank you so much to the sponsors. We hope you'll come on board again next year. If anybody is watching this and you go to any one of the sponsors that helped at our track, please tell them, listen, I'm here. I heard your name mentioned on a web show I watch. Thank you so much for sponsoring Martinville Raceway. I hope you'll do it again next year. Show them that it's worth it to be a sponsor at Martinville Raceway. So show them that their investment was well worth it, because everybody who's there on a race day knows it's well worth it. But when the sponsors get a little bit of money put back into their bottom line, that always helps. So thank you to all the sponsors. Thank you for all the track personnel. Thank you for everybody who helped at Martinville Raceway this year. Is just a fantastic year, and we've got one more race to go, but it was definitely a fantastic year this year at Martinville Raceway, and we thank you so much to all the sponsors who have been able to help this year. As most of you know that are watching this, or you've probably already heard, Little Indy Speedway has decided to stop operations at effective the end of this year. And we hate to see Little Indy close its doors. Little Indy was around for 15 years. With any luck, somebody will jump in there and go ahead and run the facility next year. But assuming somebody does not jump in, that leaves a big gap as far as racing goes for this upcoming year. So I have a question for everybody, and I would love your feedback. You can email me, you can message me on Facebook, you can message me on Bob's For Cycle. My handle is Racer7Photographer, no spaces, or I'll go ahead and put a thread up listing what I'm about to say, and you can just post it on there. My curiosity is, from the racing community, what is the best option for Martinville next year as far as the Little Indy schedule goes, which now is an open date. As everybody knows, Little Indy and Martinville, they run every other weekend, and what they've done is they've run opposite to the opposite weekends, so they've never conflicted. So with Little Indy shutting its doors, there are now most months 2 weekends, 2 Saturdays a month that are now open. So what's the best course of action for Martinville or anybody else to fill those dates? Now, the first response would be for Martinville to cover all those open dates and just run basically every weekend throughout the racing year. The second option could be for Martinville to just keep its schedule, run every Saturday, but only have points races every other Saturday. A third option could be for Martinville just to keep their normal schedule and maybe once a month jump in there with a special race. Another option would be for another track, maybe like Great Lakes, who suspended their racing operation earlier this year. Maybe they'll pick back up next year, and then they will come in and take over the Little Indy schedule. Or maybe Fremont can jump in and run opposite Martinville and run those weekends. But there may be an option out there that I haven't even thought of, and I'm not saying I have the power to do anything. I'm just curious what you guys, the viewer, think is the best option for Martinville and or any other track to fill the gap that has been left with Little Indy suspending operations effective at the end of this year. Now, I've had the pleasure of going to Little Indy. It's definitely also a first class racetrack. They have great racing out there also. That was my son Brendan's first home track, and he was able to win track championships out there. So I definitely enjoyed going out and watching him race and everything like that. And we hate to see Little Indy go. We hate to see any racetrack shut the doors, because the concern becomes when there's not enough tracks around to sustain the drivers. Well, then the drivers may end up either just stop racing, period, or they may move out of the area to get their racing fixed, for lack of a better term. So you definitely hate to see any track shut its doors, especially a track like Little Indy, which has such a great, rich tradition and history. But it's just a curiosity of mine what the racing community thinks is the best option to fill the void with Little Indy shutting its doors, whether Martinville needs to jump in and just take care of it, or maybe another track needs to jump in. And like I said, it's just a question. I'm curious, and I would love to get your feedback. So please email me, Lieber25@hotmail.com. You can get a hold of me on my Facebook page. You can you can also get a hold of me on Bob's For Cycle with the handle Racer7Photographer, no caps and no spaces. So please let me know, and some of the best responses I'll go ahead and put on the next edition of the Martinville Raceway Report. As it has been all year this year, the racing at Martinville Raceway on September 14 was fantastic. There was a lot of hard racing. There was some unexpected beating and banging in some of the classes, but it's to be expected. It's the last race of the year. Wreckers are checkers, you know what they say. And we had one definitely in what turned out was supposed to be a caution, wasn't a caution. Then somebody had to race their tail off to get back to the lead and get to victory lane when they were looking at like they were going to be a victory lane very easily. So it was definitely very interesting in some of the races. But it's been interesting. It's been fantastic at Martinville Raceway all year. And very quickly, we're going to run through the winners on September 14th. We're going to talk about what October 12th is shaping up to be. And then we'll list off the people who have worked so hard, the racers who have worked so hard this year, and those who have been crowned track champions for the 2013 Martinville Raceway season. Now, very quickly, the winners from September 14 were, in the novice class, the number 18 came home with the win. In purple plate, David Newman gets the win. In 360 clone, closing out a championship season, was Epson Miller with the win. In the 305 clone class, also closing out a championship season, was Sam Weaver. In the open clone class, somebody who came on really late in the latter stages of the year to really start to dominate the open clone class was the number 14 of Brandon Hepf. In the 360 flathead class, the number 90 came home with the win. And in the open class, Chase Grillick, who definitely had a very interesting trip to victory lane. He was the one that I mentioned was leading his race. Somebody spun out. He thought the caution was going to come out, so he backed off. Josh Crow, who was in second place, ends up going around him, and the person who the caution was supposed to come out for, he spun, but he got right back going real quick, so they didn't throw the caution, and so Chase spent about 7 or 8 laps chasing Josh Crow back down, and with about 2 laps to go, he finally got around Josh and was able to get to victory lane. He definitely had the class cart in the open class, but it was a little harder than he expected to get to victory lane, but congratulations goes to him. Now, this was the last points day for the 2013 Martinville Raceway season, but shortly after what I believed was the last race of the season, on 4 Cycles started talking about having a money race, and the money race has come to fruition. Excuse me for a second, thank you. Money race has come to fruition. October 12th at Martinville will be a full day of racing. Obviously, no points are on the line, but there's going to be money in at least 4 different classes. You're talking 360 clone, 360 flathead, most likely the opens class, and one of the kid classes will have extra money in their purse. And I do also know that besides that, in the novice class, Don Trinner has put up an extra 50 as far as the purse goes in the novice class. So that has an extra money in that class. 360 clone looks to be the big class. I believe Paul's already put up an extra $100. Weaver Performance has already put up an extra $100. So that seems to be the one class that's gaining the most traction as far as possibly the biggest purse goes. So it's going to be a wreckers or checkers kind of day because there are no points. It's all or nothing. So it's going to be a great day. October 12th. Everything is normal as far as times go. Gates open at 3 o'clock. Hot laps will start around 6:30, and then racing will start around 7:30. If you can, go on Bob's. There is a thread already going, and you've got people who basically it's a roll call. Who's coming? So everybody can get an idea, get a feel for how many carts are going to be in what class. If you know you're going and you have not already posted on that thread, please find the thread, post on there, so Paul and the gang have an idea how many are coming. Just gives them a good indication of what to expect on that day. October 12th at Martinville is going to be a normal race day. All classes will run, but at least those 4 classes, if not more, will have some extra money in their purse. Now, as far as the banquet goes, the banquet is going to be held sometime in November at Keir's Race Shop, just like it has been the past couple years. There's usually an open date sometime around Thanksgiving, so I would probably try not to plan anything for the Sunday before and the Sunday after Thanksgiving, because that seems to be the day that the banquet usually ends up on. So if you can avoid those days and plan on attending the banquet, that'd be a great idea. Once the official date is announced as far as the banquet goes, I believe on 4 Cycle they'll have another thread just trying to get an idea who's coming. Find a way to let Paul know whether or not you're coming to the banquet. It's a great time. I was there 2 years ago for the banquet. I couldn't make it last year, but it was a great time. Everybody sat down, had a great meal, just interacting, the pressures of the season's off, and just reminiscing on what was a great year 2 years ago, and we'll be doing the same thing, reminiscing on what such a great year that the 2013 Martinville Raceway season was, and those who were able to fight through whatever adversity they may have had to fight through to get their track champions for 2013. The 2013 track champions of Martinville Raceway are in the 360 flathead class. Kevin Warner is your track champion. He had a great year this year. He was consistent. Even when he wasn't winning, he was consistently up front. Consistency and wins equals usually a track championship, and that was the formula for Kevin Warner this year in the 09. In the 360 clone class, Epson Miller is a double champion. As a couple episodes ago we mentioned that in the 400 class, Epson was able to capture very easily the track championship in the 400 clone class. Well, he is a double track champion because he was able to secure the championship in the 360 clone class. In the opens class, Josh Crow comes home as your track champion. Another person who was consistent all year. If he was not able to get the feature win, he was right there gaining valuable points, and that was enough to give him the track champion in 2013 at Martinville Raceway. In the open clone class, somebody who started off really hot and then was pretty much able to coast to the win for the track champions was Scott Roberts in the number 3 cart. In the gold plate, as we've mentioned previous, Zach Newman is your track champion in the gold plate. In the purple plate class, which was probably the most fun class to watch all year, James Crow comes home as your track champion. In the 305 clone class, which was basically dominated by one cart all year, in the 24, Sam Weaver comes home as your track champion. As we've previously mentioned, in the 400 clone class, Epson Miller is your track champion. And in the 50cc class, coming home with your track champion is Wyatt Crow. So congratulations to all the track champions. You were definitely, you did a great job all year racing hard, avoiding wrecks, staying up front, and gaining as many points as possible week in, week out to get your track champions. So congratulations to all the track champions of 2013, and congratulations to all the racers this year at Martinville Raceway. It was a fantastic point season this year at Martinville Raceway, and we've got one more race to go for fun, for the checkered flag, to see who can just go out there, put everything on the line one last time, and get that last feature win of the 2013 season, and carry it over into a great off season, a little bit of momentum in the off season, which will hopefully carry over to a strong start in the 2014 season. It's going to be here before we know it. It seems like just yesterday I was on track as the first cart came out for hot laps. I was there recording the first segment of the year, and we're already here talking about who is the track champions. We're talking about the last race. We're talking about the off season, and I've already said that magic number, 2014. 2014 will be here before we know it. So congratulations to everybody. It was a fantastic year at Martinville Raceway, and I can't wait to do the next episode with the money race coming up, and I really can't wait to see what we figure out, how we're gonna do the episode covering the banquet. I think that's going to be a really good episode. So I want to say thank you also to everybody who has tuned into the Martinville Raceway Report. I've gotten a lot of feedback from a lot of people saying they enjoy the episodes. I hope the episodes have been getting more entertaining, more informative, and easier to watch. Hopefully I've been getting better at doing what I'm doing. So I thank you so much. It's been an encouragement to me as far as the feedback goes, and I hope I can continue to make this a more enjoyable show, so when you guys sit down for the 20 to 30 minutes that you watch it, you feel like you were entertained, but you were also informed. So thank you so much for watching this episode of the Martinville Raceway Report, and we'll see you next time.